You like green beans? Morning, everybody. What a great day in the Ozarks this morning. The weather is perfect. It's in the 60s. It's breezy. And after the last couple of weeks of extremely hot weather, high humidity, high heat index, this is such a welcome relief. So I've got some green beans that need picking. So let's get those picked and maybe do some canning today. Let's head to the garden. Let's take a quick peek at the garden first. Right here we got some pepper plants, and we had to pull 3 or 4 of those recently because they got broken over in a bad storm that we had. This is an empty area that I think we're going to go ahead and put to some good use. It's not too late in our season to get some more stuff growing, so we're going to plant a couple of hills of cucumbers. Probably do that today. It's so nice out. Got some lettuce coming up here. It's not great, but it's better than nothing. And then I got a couple rows of beans that are very spotty and hit and miss. Had a rabbit that got in here that did a number on them. But there's some beans on the far side over there that I'm going to be picking today. And our tomatoes are limping along. I don't know how the rest of you have been, but here in the southern Ozarks, we've gotten a lot of rain, and it's very hard to keep the disease out of our tomato plants with all the rain and the mud splattering and the wind. And anyway, we're doing our best, so let's get started. All right, that should give us a couple of hills. Get those in the ground, get them watered. We're good to go. I just ran back inside and got my cucumber seeds, so we're going to get those planted this morning before I start picking. I've created a couple hills. If you're planting seeds of cucumber, it's best to put them on a little mound or a hill. Now, if you already have cucumber plants, that's not necessary, but since we're planting from seeds, that's what I'm going to do this morning. The variety that I'm planting are little tykes. If you've never tried these, they're really great because they don't get very big. And you don't even have to peel them because the skin is so easy to eat. So we've planted those in the last couple of years and have really enjoyed them. And they're great for making pickles. So that's what we're going to do. All right, like I said, I'm going to put 3 in each hill, and hopefully we'll get at least one good one out of it. Done. Super easy. All right. Time for those green beans. Hey, welcome to our deck. It's so pretty outside, I thought I'd just sit here and snap my beans. Danny's joining me. He likes to watch, don't you, Danny boy? You know, used to, I would leave my beans long. They're actually prettier that way. I think they make a prettier presentation, but they pack better in canning jars if you snap them into maybe 1-inch pieces. So that's what I do now. Plus, it's actually easier to eat them if they're not big, long pieces laying on your plate, because they're really too big to put in your mouth and you either have to cut them or fold them over. So now a bean like this, I'm going to get probably, can you see that? I'm going to get probably 4 sections out of that. and that works out well. You can get more in a jar. So this is going to take me a bit. What do you think, Danny? What do you think, little boy? It's going to take me a bit, so I will get this done, and then when it's time to process our beans, I'll come back. So you can kind of see what I ended up with. Not a whole lot, but I'm hoping to get at least half a dozen pints out of that. And there's very little waste, mostly just little ends and pieces. A couple of beans that weren't good. I did give them a pre-rinse before I brought them in because we had a big storm that went through a couple of days ago, and they were just soaked in mud and dirt. So I rinsed them off, and I'll wash them again real good before I fill my jars. What you think, Danny boy? Hi, baby. You're so cute. You want a green bean? You like green beans? Okay, I've got my beans cleaned, and now we're ready to start filling the jars. This is going to be a pressure canning process, which means you don't have to sterilize your jars, but they do need to be clean. So just wash them in hot soapy water. So the first thing I want to do before I get started, and by the way, I'm doing pints. Years ago we used to can quarts, but we don't have a big family at home right now. It's just the two of us, so we're going to do pint sizes. So half a teaspoon of canning salt in each jar. And I don't have a lot of beans, so I'm going to use my small pressure canner today, and it will do 5 pints. So that's why I've got 5 of them set up here. So now it's just a matter of putting your funnel on there and filling your jars with beans. Once you get your hot water in here, you may need to add a few more beans, but for now I'm just going to fill them to the top because they will settle some. Boy, this is going to be close. This may work out pretty good. Almost empty here. Okay. I'm just going to shake them and settle those beans a little bit. And then we'll add our water. Borrow a few out of here. That worked out perfect, exactly 5 pints. Yay. So that means I only have to do 1 batch. All right. Now if you've seen any other canning videos that I've done, I don't like to ladle boiling water. I think it's just a hassle and kind of messy, and you can burn yourself easily. So what I do is pour it into a clean pitcher, and then the pitcher I use to top up my jars. So that's what I'm going to do now. Alrighty. You want to fill your jars to within about 1 inch of the top. That's how much head space you need. And if you've got any air, you can use this device to go around the edges and remove any air bubbles. I love canning green beans. They are the easiest thing in the world to can. I think snapping them is probably the most tedious thing to do, but otherwise they're super, super easy. That looks pretty good. Now you just need to take a clean paper towel and wipe your edges. Okay, and then place your lids on. I do like to get mine warmed up. You don't have to. They say now you can just put them on as long as they're clean. You don't have to heat them or boil them, but we do like to get ours warm, so that's what we do. And then put your caps on. These should be fingertip tight, not overly tight, because then they can buckle and food and liquid can escape, or if they're too loose, liquid can escape also. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is just load my canner. Okay, the water is supposed to come up on the jars about 1/4 of the way, so just make sure you've got enough water in them, but not too much water in this particular brand. Also, I put a splash of white vinegar in there to just keep the cloudiness off of my jars. Before I get these going, I just want to give you guys a little information and do a little disclaimer about this particular pressure canner. The USDA does not recommend using digital pressure canners to can food. We have used this for probably 5 years or so now, and we've never had any problem with it. We've done green beans, we've done fruit, we've done jams, and even after 2 years, everything has been just fine. So we're not afraid to use it, and that's why I'm going to use this one today. It does small batches, and since I only have 5 pints, it worked out great. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the lid on, get them started. This is a low acid vegetable, and so it takes 20 minutes. And when that time is up, we'll be back and we'll take a look at our finished product. And that's all there is to it. Okay, it beeped and all the steam has cleared, so I'm going to remove my jars. Ooh, hot. Yay! Okay, 5 pints of green beans, super, super easy. One of my very favorite things to can. So that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for joining us and watching. We really appreciate your support. Please be sure to like us and subscribe, and we will catch you later.